Hello, this is group number 22, and our project is Smart Calendar and Schedule Assistant.
Let's meet the team. We have Joseph Gordon, Ashish Matiala, Dunbar Paul Burney IV, Sasan Hakimza, and Umer Kazi. We are all electrical engineering students at Rutgers University.
Background of our project. Scheduling is difficult these days with a lot going in our lives. So why do you do it on our own? Wouldn't it be nice to have something where you input your time and due date and the app can make a optimal schedule for you?
So that is basically our project idea. We will be seamlessly inputting all of our tasks into our app. So these tasks that you have every day will be split up into specific categories. The first category includes things like meals, exercise, free time, and bedtime. These are things that you must do every day. So you need to block out time in your day to do them. The second category would be tasks that have hard deadlines. For example, say you have a project due on a specific day. Our app idea will let you know when to work on this project so that you can complete it on time and efficiently. And the last task that we want to incorporate is longer tasks, such as studying for an exam. Say you want to study 3 hours on Monday, 3 hours on Tuesday, etc. Our app will be able to take that into account as well. Some other things we definitely need to be able to do are editing tasks and deleting them as well, just in case you don't need to do something anymore. And our scheduling algorithm will pick the most optimal schedule for you so you can have the most efficient day possible. Let's talk about the .NET web application a little bit more now.
Hello, everyone. All right, so the architecture of our application is our backend is hosted on a SQL Server database, which is on Azure, Microsoft Azure. That's where all of our data is going to be stored. And for the front end of our application, we're going to have a .NET web application, and we're going to structure that with the MVC, which means Model View Controller. The model is where the data entities are stored. The view is where the front end is, and the controller is where all the logic is, including our auto scheduling logic. So if you see in this video here, this is our code for MVC, and here's our SQL server. You can see us logging in, and now we can even see some of our tables in a sec. There are all of our tables, and yeah, here's our tables converted with Entity Framework into our model. And here's some of our code, and so on and so forth. All right. So for our database structure, we separated all of our data into 5 different tables. We have the users table that stores all of our user information. We have user preferences where we can set user preferences such as like when they want to start doing work in the day, and when they want to end doing work in the day, or how many total hours in the day. We have calendar events, which is where we store all the events on our calendar. We have tasks, which is the objects that are able to be rescheduled, and there's different categories of tasks, which are stored in the task category table. All right, so we added functionality where you can create a user account. All you have to do is enter your email, first name and last name and password. You can see us doing that here. If you click join us, and then you can type in all this information, and then you can type in your password. And then after you do that, it should take you to your calendar, like so. All right. You can also use that account you made and log in using the email and password, like you see here, and it again will take you to the calendar. And then we'll have Nick take over and start talking about our calendar event creation.
Yeah, so Joe got into it a little bit earlier, but I've talked about it before, but the way that we structured it is we have tasks and events. And so tasks are things that we want to get done that have deadlines, and events are actual things that we schedule into the calendar. So the events are going to be the blue rectangles that you see on your calendar, and tasks are something that we use in the back end. And so when you create a new event on the calendar, there's two ways to do that. You can use the static click and drag method to place in your events that are always the same every day, week to week, however they are. And then for the events that are kind of dynamically set, things that you need to get done by a certain date, but don't have a certain time that you need to do them, you can use the create task button, like we'll show here. Yeah, so here, that's one of the static events. You can just click, put something in, and hit that little check mark, and it'll save it into the database, and it'll be right there. And so that's an example of how you make something that's completely static. If we fast forward a little bit, we'll be able to see some of it. Oops. Yeah. And then you can see it how you can see it in different views. And you can also edit your existing events. And so if something is mistimed or something, you can always go back and fix it. All right. Yeah, so new task creation. This is what I was speaking about with the create task button. This is where you'll place all of the events that you want to be dynamically scheduled by our reschedule auto schedule button. So here we go. All you need to put in is the name, start date, due date, estimated completion time, and the priority. And then it'll use, our algorithm will use these values in conjunction with your personal user preferences to place this event into your calendar, like shown. Yep, so the name of the task is the project, the start date, today, due date, and the estimated completion time in minutes. There we go, priority. There you go, and you can see that it pops up. Perfect. For our auto scheduler, this is the logic that takes our dynamically schedulable tasks and moves them around the calendar based on what it thinks is optimal for you, based on your user preferences, existing calendar events, and optimization of your schedule. So here we go with an example. Those two events that we put in dynamically are the project task and the study for finals task. And so we're going to show an example of how the auto schedule button would look at this existing calendar and try and improve it. And so you can see that when the auto schedule button is pressed, the long study for finals event is split into two parts, and the project is moved back to a start time that's better for that user.
In terms of future work for our application that we had in mind, if we had more time on this project and the resources to do so, would be to integrate Alexa with the voice app control so that you can actually tell Alexa to add things to your calendar, take things off of your calendar, move things around, and also just tell you what you have coming up for that day, week, etc. Just simple phrases or questions such as, when is my next doctor's appointment? Or when is my dinner with Sally, for example. Next, integrate with Outlook, because Outlook is obviously one of the top applications used among professionals and educators. It would be ideal for us to be able to rather than have our own calendar API, be able to integrate with Outlook events, since that is already heavily used in many areas. And lastly, shared group calendars, where you can quickly and easily share your calendar with a group of people. Maybe it's a group project you're working on or a group meeting that you all need to agree on. Sharing your calendars with a group of people makes the whole process of scheduling and auto scheduling much easier, as the algorithm could find slots in your calendar that are also aligned with your team or group members. So the potential added value of our application. So first, obviously, if this were to be put into effect, it would be rolled out to Rutgers students, potentially included in the Rutgers app, possibly even linked to the Rutgers calendar with events happening on campus, so that students can get more involved in things that they're interested in. Phase 2 ideally would be to, after doing our initial testing on Rutgers campus, roll out to other schools in New Jersey. Possibly have development teams integrating into existing applications. However, we could also develop a standalone application, as we did for our project presently. In phase 3, ideally nationwide adoption. So there's just kind of a graphic to show the progression and what is possible for the application. Obviously, Rutgers would be a great place to test it out. Maybe fix any bugs, get critiques from actual students using it, and then roll it out to universities nearby. And then from there, who knows where this can go. So with that being said, thank you so much for listening. I know obviously we can't take any questions in the video, but we would be happy to answer any questions that may come up.